Hi guys, we're gonna go over the Kimura sweep. I've got Ethan here with me, he's gonna help. It's a good thing we're both wearing black E's on a black mat so you totally see all the detail. So here we go. I'm gonna have Ethan in my full guard here. My guard's locked up, and what I wanna do is I wanna get his hands to the mat. So there's a lot of different ways that I can do that, but for drilling purposes, we're just gonna turn the hands off like this. Our partner's gonna help us out by putting their hands down on the mat. Now when I come up, I want to swing my hands over so I can get my armpit right over his shoulder. If I come up across this way, I'm going to probably elbow him right in the face, and Ethan is a nice guy, so I don't want to do that. So I swing myself up, and I come all the way up to my hand so I can get my armpit over his shoulder, okay? Once I'm here, I open up my guard, I put my feet on the mat, and I grab for his elbow. When I do that, I'm going to push my hips up into his chest. I grab for his elbow, I take his post out, I give myself a big hug with his arm, and with my hips connected to his chest, I start to drop my knees and turn over and get my sweep. So one more time. I have Ethan locked up in my guard. I push his hands off to the mat, and I swing up high. I get my my armpit over his shoulder, and then I grab onto his elbow, pushing my hips into his chest, and dropping my hips or dropping my knees down to the mat. Now that's the sweep. There's a lot of things that can happen in this time frame when I'm trying to sweep him. This is why they call it the Kimura sweep. He might try to push me back down to the mat. So I'm gonna push his hands to the mat. I'm gonna start to come up, but if he puts his shoulder down into me, I'm gonna fall back down. What I'm gonna do is, with my free hand, I'm gonna try to find his wrist, and then the arm that's already over his shoulder, I'm gonna tuck underneath his elbow and find my wrist that's on his. Now I'm gonna fall all the way to my back, and I'm gonna put my left leg in this situation over his back. So I fall to my back, and I put my left leg over his back. Now I'm trying to pull his elbow away from his shoulder. I kind of want a 90-degree angle here to here. I'm using my leg to keep him down so he doesn't posture back up, and then I'm gonna turn my body to take his wrist all the way up to the ceiling, and then all the way past that way. So pulling up, and then I start to turn until I get my tap. One more time for that one. Guard's locked, I sweep off, I sit up, and he puts his shoulder into me to push me back down to the mat. My left hand finds his wrist, my right hand digs underneath his elbow, and I get my figure 4 on his arm. Now when I'm here, I pull everything tight. I'm gonna try to pull down on his back with my hamstring so he doesn't posture up, and then I'm gonna pull his elbow away from his shoulder, this way. Once everything's tight and locked in, I start to turn my body until I get the tap. Now the last thing we can look at is if I hit this sweep, I can go for a sweet little arm bar too. So instead of going all the way into the mount, when I hit the sweep, I'm gonna put his hands to the mat, I'm gonna swing all the way up, and when I take him over, I get a good grip on his elbow here, hips in, I drive him out over, but as I get to this point, I'm gonna swing my leg through, and I'm gonna pinch hard here. Now his arm is stuck underneath my armpit, and I just do a side crunch until I get the tap. Everything tight around the shoulder, pinching down, making sure that his thumb is right in my armpit, and pushing down. One more time on that one. So again, I push his hands off, I swing up super high. When I go for the sweep, I'm always going for the elbow just for this reason alone. So I push my hips in. When he starts to fall, I bring my hips underneath, my knees come up, I pinch hard across his shoulder, and I get the tap. So guys, that's the Kimura sweep, 3 different ways. Hope you enjoy it, and goodbye. You got anything to say?
Nope.
Nope is it. Word.